Catching up with the latest Swedish indie sensation, Coffee Stain Studios, or you've been an indie sensation for a while now, but your latest game is sort of breaking all kinds of records for you guys, I assume.
Yeah, you could easily say that. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride so far. We're kind of enjoying ourselves right now. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a weird concept, and I guess you get asked how it came to be every time someone interviews you, but still, it's got to be one of those things that's a little bit scary. Are we too much out there when we think of something like that? Was it even meant as a game from the beginning?
I think the game initially was kind of a reaction to the current gaming industry. We see so many games these days coming out on Steam, and we think that way too many of them are so similar. And I think that Goat Simulator took that thought, and we made something very, very different. And I think that's what makes it so great.
And I also think that the commercial success of it is obviously rubbing some people the wrong way, and a lot of people get almost provoked by the fact that you're so successful. How do you react to something like that?
I just love it. I think it's so fun. The reviews are either very, very good or horrible, and I think that's amazing, because then in one way we made a game that kind of touch a lot of people, and it's either a game that you love or you hate, and I think that's way more interesting than a game that is like it's okay. But
because on the surface it pokes fun at the simulator genre, which it's an easy target. Let's face it, it's something that we can all poke fun at, but at a deeper level it pokes fun more sort of regular staples of sort of hardcore games and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that simulators was definitely a big inspiration, but I think that it also kind of, as I kind of said before as well, it kind of tries to move out of the current, what we see in other games, and I think, games can be about just having fun, and I think that's one of the base things with Goat Simulator. It's not a deep story, it's not 10 hours gameplay, it's about having fun, and that's it.
So if we move the subject back to this game camp initiative, where you're sort of a wild card, you're sort of the ninth guy.
Yeah, the black goat. Actually, yeah.
Have you found a project yet to apply your trade to, or are you still shopping around?
I'm still shopping around a bit. There's definitely a lot of different exciting projects. It's very hard at this early stage to say, which ones of them are going to be very good or so, but I think that there's definitely a lot of good ideas, and it will be really exciting to follow up and see how it turns out.
There was one simulator game among the crop, the Lunch Lady Simulator.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like the Goat Simulator at all.
No.
Does it? It's some way more structured.
Yeah, it's but I kind of like that as well. It's kind of, we haven't seen that before either, so maybe it's time for that as well.
I just can't help but think that it's a horribly repetitive game.
Yeah.
If it's realistic.
Maybe there's, an audience for that as well. We don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, but I guess that's the beauty also of these kind of student projects, that they can be commercially viable, but they can also be something that's simply there to learn how to make a game and sort of make something that you perhaps wouldn't make if you had a company and you had to earn wages and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, the connection with what they're doing here, that they're connecting the students with the gaming industry is hopefully, going to help them to make games that are viable for, being out there on the market. Because I was also a student here a few years ago, and I think that a problem that we saw at that point was that very few of the games were actually viable for the market. So hopefully we'll see that with this project there are going to be a lot of more of them that actually makes it out there. So I think it's a great initiative.
So what's the background? Was Sanctum something that you came up with at school, or did you come up with it later?
Sanctum was actually started exactly like these projects in the second year as a 10-week project, and at that time there wasn't you know, a lot of those projects didn't make it. But Sanctum was actually, I think it was like the only project that got out on the market, and it was also the reason that we got together, started the studio and everything. So I mean, good things can really come out of this. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
But these guys are getting sort of a booster shot or a steroid shot with the help of Microsoft and stuff. It's not quite the same way that you had it.
Exactly, and I think that's great because we need more gaming companies. And I mean, it's really funny to see. I mean, in this small town of Skövde, and they're doing a lot of things right here, and hopefully we'll see more of these, you know, types of events and collaborations in the future.
And speaking of the future, you've released some free DLC for Goat Simulator. What's the plan ahead, or are releasing perhaps? Yeah. What's the plan ahead with Goat Simulator, and how can you sort of, because now it's such a success, you got to sort of take it seriously. You can't afford not to, right?
Initially, you know, we had the plan to just move on. That was like, and then we're definitely going to, you know, keep maintain the game for quite a while, and we actually, you know, announced that we're adding split screen support, local co-op, which is getting out in May, hopefully. So we're working really hard on that, and we're also working on a new map with more goats and other cool stuff. So, and except for that, you know, we're going to make sure that the workshop is working great, the editor, work on all the tools. So
absolutely no bug fixing.
No bug fixing, absolutely not. We've had that concern, and no, we're not going to touch the bugs.
Have you been approached about bringing it to other platforms by anyone, or is that something you're thinking about at all?
So right now we're focusing mainly on Steam. What we are doing is we're porting it for Mac and Linux, and you know, from there we'll see. I mean, we're a small company, and we need to focus. So, but if it keeps doing well, you know, you never know.
And perhaps it's a little bit surprising, but this sort of has this sort of afforded your company a little bit more freedom in what you do next? That this success sort of, because it's not like a big project that you've taken a year to make or something like that, so it's got to be pretty profitable in that sense. Has this sort of afforded you more freedom next?
Definitely, and I think that, you know, the best thing that come out of this is that now we'll have even more, you know, creative freedom, and, you know, hopefully this will help us make even more crazy games in the future. So that's really a good situation to be in.
But perhaps you can't make something super serious next, or can you?
We can make whatever we want, and I think that's like the beauty of being independent, so you never know.
All right, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Any clues on when we can hear anything about your next project, or is it way too soon?
You'll see something sooner or later, I guess. We're having some, you know, pre-production on some stuff, but it's a little bit early to say so.
Maybe Goat Simulator didn't take up the whole studio, or did it?
Yeah, it actually did. We've been working like full team on it, so it's it kind of grew.
All right. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.